What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. My name is Ozil from Ozil FC, and today we're going to take a look at some of the SBCs that I really regret not doing in FIFA 21 in the past 6 to 7 months. Most of them are because of like rational meta reasons. They could have been players that I really think are value for their stats. Others are more sentimental. But before we get into the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button over here and smash the like button. Let's get to 100 likes possibly. And let's get into it. We begin with Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil, one of my favorite players of all time. Always do players that you feel personal connections to. That's why I keep reminding my friends who play this game. 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills. Already really fun card. My only regret is that I don't think this kind of like Mesut Ozil special card will be replicated. I think, you know, in future iterations. I remember not doing his foot birthday SBC last year, and I feel so much regret for that, in my opinion. Even though that wasn't a very rare meta card. Medium low. This guy can shoot pretty well, man. He can finish really well. Ozil just has a pretty interesting lanky body type, so kind of like a lean average, I guess, body type. Not the most agile. His 2-star weak foot from the base card always made him like kind of like a really difficult player to play with. 93 shot passing, 95 vision, 83 stamina. Strength wise, not quite underwhelming here for jumping and defense, but you're not looking for that. Other than that, you look at his 3 main attacking stats: pace, shooting, passing. You're not missing a beat right here, man. With the 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills, you know, the outside foot shot, this guy should be shooting it like crazy, man. Finesse shot with the curve at 90, 93 composure. Wish I could see his crossing higher. Ozil, when he was still at the German team, he had a wicked cross, man, guys. So there's that. Links wise also, he's not that crazy, but not that unusable too because of his German link. Podolski, of course, strong links him, the German icons. You have players like Kimmich, like Marco Reus, like Jerome Boateng in a back three, like Leroy Sané, like the informed Kimmich or Toni Kroos. It's really no excuse not to play him. If you click next, you can even see some other players, like, you know, like this guy, this striker right here, this Lars Bender, Shervin Bender, Leon Goretzka. It's some list, man. Like, honestly, even Amri Chan, even Neuhaus, even Bender, Gnabry. So there's really no excuse to say he is not that linkable. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of usable players that could benefit, because there's really nothing wrong with this card other than, you know, the club links, I guess. Just wish it was high attacking work rate. Still pissed at myself that I didn't do this. But we move on. We move on to Lucas Podolski, another Arsenal stalwart. And that's the reason why I love these two cards, man, because I'm a giant Arsenal fan and I kind of love nostalgia. So, you know, the way Arsenal are playing now versus like 3-4 years ago, I would have taken the 3-4 years ago, to be honest. You know, so there we have it. Lucas Podolski. This is not a meta card by all means. The Ozil card had more of a, you know, more of a say or more of a case to be made that it is a meta card, but this one not really, other than the 5 stars, because more of a fun card, more of a Zweebacks, you know, wet dream or something with Podolski. You know, you should engine on him or Hunter. What Hunter, I'll personally do it, but the dribbling is kind of you know. But with Podolski, kind of use him up top, you know. He has, as Wenger said, the hardest shot that of any player that he's ever coached. The passing is also very good, so that's cool as well. Medium low work rate is probably the worst out of him and Mesut Ozil. Traits wise, with outside foot shot, so that would be like a 3.5-star foot at least. I think most people play him on the wing. Not a meta card by all means, but still a fun one. Moving on from there, we have Adama Traore. This Adama Traore was such a meta card. Still a meta card right now because you put Sentinel on him. You don't have to put the base. So look at that. That's almost perfect. You know, 96 interceptions, 91 defensive awareness, 85 stand tackling. Your defense is honestly endgame, in my opinion, with the dribbling as well being pretty good. The physicality as well. If you are putting him on stay back, that's absolutely fine. You know, it's still some. It's still enough, you know. It's 6 away from it being super usable at this stage of the game, but I think it's still okay if you're playing him at stay back while attacking. The crossing is also 88, which is very good. Passing is just decent. Could be better. I think it could be a little bit sharper at this stage of the game, but all in all, I think he's a really good end game left back defensive wise, which is quite crazy. High work rates. Then we move on to James Tavernier. James Tavernier, because of the Ryan Kent link, you know. That makes me kind of sad because this Ryan Kent is just balls to the wall insane. This guy is like 400k and spread of reactions. This guy is just endgame as heck, man, and 5-star, 5-star. And look at his other links, man. Other than Tavernier, he can link to any English center, English icon, as well as, you know, Jamie Vardy, Trent, Rooney, you know, a lot of players. So this Tavernier was one piece of the puzzle in getting that Ryan Kent to be good, because this guy right here is honestly not. It's honestly a big step down. This Rangers card was kind of awesome, man. You put an anchor on him or a sentinel. I think he looks extremely proficient in everything. You know, in defense, of course, the defensive ones can be better, but this guy, look at that, he can finish as well. He had 99 stamina, which is just exemplary for a right back. 15 plus for the jumping 98. He's 3-star, 3-star, medium high, as well as strong links to Ryan Kent. So kind of regret not doing this card, but he was pretty expensive, I have to say. So chalk and cheese, I guess. 84. You can kind of still use it for Ryan Kent, but he is quite a little bit sharper. Just not sharp. Less sharper than the 87 Tavernier. So you get downgrades, man, especially the defensive awareness and the pace. And these small things matter, in my personal opinion. Other than that, we have Bruno Fernandez. I think this card was not overpriced, in my opinion. You have to understand that KDB, Bruno Fernandez is team of the year. They were much more expensive at the time, 2 million, 3 million. And this card honestly is pretty endgame, in my opinion. The 99 stamina, you put a shadow on him, the defense is honestly acceptable. IMO, it's almost like team of the year KDB, and by the time you would be using like some fodder here already, you know. And I feel like instead of doing those prime icon SBCs or those icon SBC gambles, this guy would be a much better grind to have to. If you could like split him into like 2 600k kind of SBCs, this guy I still feel is quite value, just because, you know, players like him, like Kylian Mbappe's League 1 player of the month card, they're expensive, I know, but they have some merit, you know, in being useful. 4-star skills, 4-star weak foot for this Bruno Fernandez. Looking at a hitliner card, honestly, 840k now because of the market crash. However, this guy, you stock a lot of untradables over time, and this guy still feels just the value, you know, in my opinion. So there we have it. This Bruno Fernandez is some card that is worth your attention. This Joao Felix, a very, very meta card at the time. 400k, honestly, in retrospect, not expensive at all. He is 5-star, 4-star. Only issue with him was the medium. If not, I would have done him in a heartbeat. But I still think he has enough merit, shooting wise, pace wise, the dribbling. You have to understand that Joao Felix does dribble like a dream, you know. The passing was also decent. Looks like kind of like an icon, you know, the medium work rates. At the time, so accessible, this card, to be fair. And yeah, man, like looking at this Joao Felix, I know there's a market crash now, but those cards, they would have brought you a ton of fun. You have to understand that accessibility wise, in December, there really wasn't a lot of cards like this at this price point. So Neymar was still, I think, 1 million. So they have some value right there. Jonathan Dos Santos. Jonathan Dos Santos, I kind of regret he was really, really cheap. I think the issue was that I wasn't convinced by his linkability. So Hernandez wasn't there at the time. You know, you had players like Carlos Vela who shot up like crazy. You had players like, I guess, other MLS players that shot up as well. I think Nani increased a little bit, even though he's a weakling. This dude right here, people call him the budget Ronaldo Sanchez because of his pace. He's high, 87 stamina. He had perfect pace. Could put an anchor on him as well, and with it, he would made kind of like a really, really good, you know, center mid too. You know, reminds me of like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So, but for a much cheaper price, man. And he's Mexican as well, high. This could have been a fun card. And before I move on, I need to add one player to my list. Is Wayne Rooney. I think he is a very endgame card. Looking at that, he has the Bruno Fernandez kind of flair. The only issue is the low interceptions and defensive awareness. This one doesn't really matter. This card is super meta for a card that came out in early February, in my opinion. 4-star, 4-star, you know, links wise. Perfect link is really hard, but he has strong links to players like Beckham's prime moments, you know, other usable players like, I wouldn't say usable, but like, you could put him in like Rio Ferdinand, you know, if you're covering him the center mid, and that's where I see Rooney's main goal be. You could link him to like Sterling, Alexander-Arnold, Vardy, Saka, what if Smalling. A lot of cards you could use, to be honest. You put a shadow on him and he would be some kind of player, to be honest. This Rooney is someone, man. Like, just don't sleep on this Wayne Rooney. Wish I have done it. The 400k was expensive, but so meta. Then we move on to Kaka, and Kaka is the only icon moments that I actually regret not doing. I'm gonna tell you why. This prime Kaka, I love him so much, man. Like, honestly, I think the time was early January, and that makes him even more of a treat. I think my one thing that I'll do next season is I'll just start building my untradables instead of a prime icon or something. I'm gonna build to one of these, even though it's expensive. I think it's still worth it to have, you know, these cards that you really want in your team. Look at him with 100, man. Like, these stats are no joke, to be honest. With the 5-star, 4-star, with the high attacking work rate, the passing is fine. Kaka dribbles like really awesome, man, in the game. And you know, the prime icon moments is way too far to step up. So I guess, you know, again, same logic. Like, some players you should invest in them, you know. Like, it's not like super expensive or something, you know. This is one of the footbin errors right here. Then we move on to Thilo Kehrer, a very recent SBC. Even though PSG lost, I still think that this guy is SBC I kind of regret not doing. You have to understand that Ligue 1 doesn't have a healthy surplus of center backs. You know, Todibo is an SBC, pretty expensive though. Marquinhos, this guy not super meta. Marcelo not super meta. Valen probably the only meta one if you're talking about pace. Koscielny not meta as well. You have to wait until team of the season, honestly, and that's why Thilo Kehrer 170k. If you want to put your Neymar's, your Mbappe's, I think this is a really important card to have, to be honest. And I kind of regret not doing it, even though the 80 strength is a bit low. The dribbling is kind of okay, but and the defensive awareness is not crazy by any means. But I think this is like the Joe Gomez, man, of Ligue 1. So keep in mind for that. And moving on from there, we have Marco Reus's card. Either a Hunter or an Engine, 5-star, 4-star. I think he's just worth it. He's just about worth it. And yeah, this Marco Reus card, I think is really usable option. I think Bundesliga. You have to understand that Bundesliga doesn't have any 5-star skill players at all that are very meta. In my humble opinion, like if you go to Bundesliga here and you click minimum skills 5-star, you have Jadon Sancho, Douglas Costa's old card, and then not much really in the attacking position. Emre Can's more of a defensive midfielder. So if you're using Bundesliga with their wealth of center backs and midfielders, and you know, value god tier midfielders and center backs, then you need to have some really good attackers. And I think it's good that you have a Marco Reus right here. So as a striker, this guy I think is pretty good. Doesn't dribble the best, but necessary, you know what I mean. We're not talking about context of all the other cards. This guy, I'm not too sure, you know. I don't even all of his all of everything, you know. You put a shadow on him, yes, he looks pretty endgame, but I think the pace always affected this card, you know. Even though he was 6'3", medium high, 4-star, 4-star, outside foot shot, power hitter. If you check on similar, if you compare a card like, let's say, Duncan, you know, then or Paulinho, you know, you can't really say it's a bad choice not to do this card either if you don't have a Serie A team, because sometimes when you do cards because they're value and you don't have the right team to complement them, then it's kind of a wasted card as well, you know, in price. That's just what I'm saying. But I know how value he is for many players because of how many informs he got. I just wish Mkhitaryan, you know, continued the wave. You know, an upgraded Mkhitaryan would have been so crazy. So this card, Showdown Acuna, I think this card is really legendary at this point in time. With an anchor would be very, very tasty. High, 4-star, 3-star, 5/8. Honestly, exceptional. You know, for the time he was in late December. He was an SBC with 2 days, but 160k. I think he could have lasted 3-4 months, 5 months easily. So yeah, until he went obsolete. So I think still really, really good in my opinion, because I feel like with team of the season, all the sweat, I think the best time to play foot is between January and March, where you have more or less the great meta players and a healthy balance of squads. Before we get into the nasty shit, Sergio Busquets, this guy more of like a little bit of a Barcelona old fan, you know, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Messi, those days. I am a sucker for nostalgia, and I think this time is up, more or less, you know. Stab a shadow, doesn't have the best stamina. Honestly, he's a little overpriced in my opinion, because Modric would have been much better. Medium high work rates, can't really finish. But yeah, this guy was a stalwart, man. And a defensive mid, if you're playing like a Barcelona past and present squad, this guy is just someone that you should do. Riyad Mahrez. I know medium is the worst of it, because this card had so many incremental upgrades. I still feel like he is owed another upgrade. I've seen a lot of this card, man. I don't know why so many people did it. Actually, the 190k, it really worked out well, you know, because I think Man City were just starting to get consistent right here. And before that, they didn't really have a great track record. That's what Guardiola said. You know, they didn't have a great track record of being consistent. So this was a gamble, and this was a gamble that semi paid off. Okay, so looking back at all the SBCs, the really useless ones and the really good ones, I would say that there weren't any outrageously value SBCs this time around. There wasn't any outrageously bad SBCs for value, to be honest, as well. And that's why I kind of stray away, man, from SBCs, unless it's really good SBC, you know, like El Shaarawy or Hussam Aouar's freeze card. I think the Marquinhos SBC is also really good for CDM. I just wish it was a center back. Who else? Can't really think right now. Looking at Premier League, looking at Arsenal. Are there any other cards I don't? Yeah, we didn't have an SBC, but I guess we could do an objectives one. Anyways, thanks so much for watching the video. Stay tuned for other upcoming content. Take care, subscribe, smash the like button, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.